Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy, The Rooster from Nine Stitch Method, and you're listening to Uncovering the Underground with my dude, Skippy Ickum, on Speaker Podcast Radio, keeping it 100% underground.
Fuck the world and everything in abundance. Cold-blooded, I ain't changing for nothing. It's like if I don't feel the pain, I can't function. I got these motherfuckers praying for something, but y'all don't want it. Think I'ma need me a couple of feet. I'm done with the poison you feeding to me. All of you niggas get caught in the smoke. If I lock in the load and I lean in my seat. Creeping up on your street for weeks to see if he would even leave. You know really when these problems in our mind, it's just best to flee the scene. They throwing shade at my shine, I'ma let them see the beams. It's fucking crazy how niggas act like we a team. And pour your head in the crossing path of a guillotine. Messing with a killer, put a pill up in his liver. I got him out like it was being mean. I'm done with all that funny shit. It don't mean nothing, bitch. Racing to the grave and I've been feeling mine is coming quick. With a blunt to lips, I fuck a wish and dump a clip, no rubber slick. Ask the blunt and teleport back to the mothership, baby. Let's take a trip and I can show you how to fade away. Fuck a bed, I'm trying to lay inside my grave today. Lost myself in the middle of this paper chase. Fade away, not fade away, just come with me, let's fade away. Sometimes I feel like this world could just pass me by. Yeah, that's a million questions, but no one will answer mine. Memories will get caught in the sands of time. Every action has a reason, but I'm no longer asking why. They trying to say I'm pushing people away. Well, I don't care, just stay the fuck out my space. I tell myself that it's okay and I'll be straight. Take a pill straight to the head and take this blunt to the face. Don't even feel like I'm here anymore. Like I'm trying to see clear but my vision is poor. Trying to go psycho and split you in four. Then go pick up your bitch and put dick in the core. Thinking about some shit you did, that shit you said. I'm bugging now, and I gotta be the one to tell you that I keep a lot of demons and haters that don't fuck around. Bitch, I'm gone, lace the blunt. Perfect way to waste a month. I ain't here to make no friends, I only fuck with paper tough. Ain't got no time for anything unless we taking drugs. I ride my own wave and don't care about what a hater does. Cause you a fuck boy and I don't give a fuck, boy. Kiss that hoe, I hope you like the taste of nut, boy. It's hard to come across some people you can trust, so I'm keeping to myself because I'm bound to fuck you up, boy. Let's take a trip and I can show you how to fade away. Fuck a bed, I'm trying to lay inside my grave today. Lost myself in the middle of this paper chase. Fade away, not fade away, just come with me, let's fade away. Sometimes I feel like this world could just pass me by. Yeah, that's a million questions, but no one will answer mine. Memories will get caught in the sands of time. Every action has a reason, but I'm no longer asking why.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground radio show brought to you by First Angel Media and Brutal Business Entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickum, and I'm glad to have you listening tonight. Whether you're listening live or streaming this after the fact, as always, click the like, share, and follow buttons, because the more that you do that, the more that we move up the podcast community rankings, more people that find the show, and ultimately keeps you in the loop with everything that we got going on. Make sure you check out not only each and every episode that we put out each week on Thursday nights, but make sure to go back and jump into the old archives that we have. This is episode 57, so you got 56 great episodes prior to this one. Make sure you check out the different guests that we've been able to bring onto the show. We do air each and every week, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's on Thursdays, and we're always bringing you someone great from the underground to pick their brain, find out who they are, what they do, and a little bit about them. So tonight will be no different. Real quick, we do want to let you know if you're looking for any Brutal Business Entertainment updates, go to www.teambrutalbusiness.com. That'll let you know everything we're doing with the radio, with modeling, with the music and shows, although the shows aren't happening so much right now, folks, as I'm sure you're aware. But soon we will be back, and we will be booking a ton of events as normal, so make sure you check that out, as well as our video game stream team, horror review team, and much more. So teambrutalbusiness.com. We do want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. You can check out their merchandise at tattooedscumbag.com. Use promo code BBE10. That'll give you 10% off your overall order. Everything from hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, hats, sweatpants, socks, you name it, they make it. I wear it. I love it when I'm out on the stage. I love it when I'm laying around the house relaxing, and when I'm running my errands. I wear it quite a bit. I stand behind their company and what they put out. High quality gear, and if you're a tattooed scumbag like me, you'll love it, so make sure you check them out. And you can also check out Roush Designs, Legion Artwork, 5 Milligram Artwork, and R3 Graphics. They are always giving us the best in entertainment and media and graphic art, so we really appreciate everything those guys do. Now, if you are listening out there, like I said, make sure you click that following button, because we're always bringing you new, updated, and exciting events, and we want you to be a part of it. Talking about being a part of it, you can listen to us anywhere you feel most comfortable, from iTunes to Spotify, iHeartRadio, and everything in between. But we do host our show through Spreaker.com, and you can check that out at Spreaker.com or through the Spreaker app at Spreaker. That does have a function that you can instant message us during the show, so you can ask our guest each week questions, give input, and just be involved in the show itself. We always encourage that, so if you are listening, feel free to jump in. We would love to hear what you have to say. Tonight, we have a guest that I've been wanting to bring on the show. We got him here finally tonight. Schedules crossed, and excited to bring him on and let you guys know a little bit about him and hear his music. The real name is Austin Brown, and his signature is Rapper A.B., an individual focused on the future, his family, and providing good listening material to the average person looking to enhance their experience of life. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Can't say anything less than that.
You know what? It doesn't do any good if you do, man. It's always about keeping that positive vibe and just keep rolling with it.
Oh, man. Do you read books? That's my question for you. Before you ask.
I'm getting interviewed tonight, folks. Yes, I read frequently.
Because what you just said right there reminded me of this book called Think and Grow Rich that I have read. It's just about that. There's no use going less than great, or at least not even thinking about it. Just keeping that positive attitude. That's really important. And, you know, I think a lot of people do struggle with that, thinking negatively sometimes during the day, and to overcome that is like a superpower.
Well, here's the thing, is everybody thinks that they are owed a comfortable life. And they let the unfortunate things in life weigh on them, and they bring them down, and they complain about it, and they do the woe is me, and why would God do this to me, like they were owed something. But the thing is they don't realize that happiness isn't something you're given. Happiness is something you work for and strive for, and in order to work for anything in life, you got to put the time and effort into it. So it's easy to let the affliction of anger and pain and sadness and sorrow seep in and overtake you. It's hard to block that out and keep a calm, clear, concise mind. That is a challenge. It's an obstacle. But you know what? What comes from that obstacle is clear mind and happiness. It is a chore to work towards. And why are there so many unhappy people in life? Because there's so many people not willing to work hard enough to be happy.
Man, you said it.
That's how it is, folks. That's some real knowledge for you out there. So next time you feel sad about yourself or you're angry about an issue, take a step back, take a breath, reanalyze, and think, this is how I always handle it, but how can I handle it differently to get a different result? And when you start taking situation by situation in that manner, you'll start to note little changes in your life start happening and that lead to bigger changes. And then all of a sudden, handful of months down the road, a year down the road, your life has changed because you learned to channel the anger and sorrow that you once would have used as a form of mental bondage, and you turn that into, passion, or turn it into happiness. It's very easy to do, but it's very hard to do, if that makes sense. So seek better within yourself and you'll find it. But needless to say, we're going to jump off the philosophical things here, folks. I could go in deep, as most of you know I do on a different channel on my other show. But no, we're happy to have you on here tonight, brother, and get to talk to you a little bit about your music, what it is that you do, and how you got started. And I like to kick the show off very traditional. Call me old school or not, I don't care, but I like to start it out with, truthfully, how did you get started in music? What made you decide you wanted to do music? And during that path, was it always rap, or is it something that, led you into rap? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
I began, just like the average person, just listening to music, Eminem mostly. I got my first hard copy CD of Recovery back in, when it came out in 2011, I think. 2010, maybe.
It's probably about the right year.
Yeah, and I used to, something drew me to it where I was listening to the song and I'd write the lyrics down on paper, and I didn't have any way to rewind it, so I had to start the whole song over again and again to really get it. And I wanted to be able to rap along with the song, so that's all I really wanted to do. Eventually, my father had told me to just try to write something by myself. And I didn't really listen at the time, but then, it got thrown into my subconscious that eventually I met a friend who rapped, and then I came over to his house and we made a song, and then the rest from there leads to today.
And that's it, man. I mean, you just got to do it. You just got to write. You got to pick up the pen. You got to put it to paper. You got to see what comes of it. No, it's not going to be good at first. No, it's not going to be good the 20th time around, 30th time around. But the 300th time around, hey, it's certainly gotten some progress. And then the 3,000. You just got to keep at it until you carve away the stone and turn it into the statue. And it's there if you want to do it.
Yeah, you got to, it's... You gotta chip away one time at a time, and then eventually you make the statue, and you learn as you go.
You do, man. It's an ever changing. If you don't learn, I think that it's probably not the right challenge for you in life. And if it's not a challenge, what's the point? If you glided through everything in life, it wouldn't have the reward of the struggle. So the struggle is a very big part of the journey that people like to jump over and skip and ignore, but that's the big part of the journey that really makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, because, you get caught into that imagery of, like, the artist that you listen to, and you want to be as good as that, so you try to do that. But then once you kind of hit that wall a little bit, or you hit that whole block that you haven't even started chipping at yet, you start to realize, like, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, to develop a craft over time.
It is, because you got to craft yourself, you know what I mean? You start out maybe thinking this is what you want to craft it into, but as any good artist will usually tell you, as you start to work harder, it kind of takes on a lifespan of its own. And even though you're ambitious and pushing towards wanting to be this, and this, your artistry is going to say, no, you are this, and this, and it'll shape who you are maybe differently than you thought it would be, but it ends up being who you are as an artist. And a lot of people don't realize that, and they're like, wow, this is different than I thought it would be. But that's, like I said, the struggle.
Yeah, but like you said, you got to start. And I think it really does help, like, when you find passion in it. Like, having that imagery is useful to think about, like, yourself on stages before you even touch the microphone on stage. It is super helpful because it gets you excited, it gets you putting that passion. It doesn't matter what that passion is coming from, as long as you're able to then channel that and then create. Eventually you get up onto the next step, and it's good to visualize the future. You
have to be aiming high. I mean, that's the thing, is it's a gift and a curse in some cases. As I said, for myself, for many years, I was so ambitious to continue to climb up the ladder bigger and bigger, and it was like as I would reach this pivotal moment, I would already be thinking about the next, and then the next, and then the next, and it was great. It gave me a great drive to keep bettering myself. But I feel that you can't get so lost in that you don't take a step back from time to time, take a breath and say, man, damn, look what you did. Look what you've been able to do. Because we get lost in that constant hunger of needing to be better and needing to be more, and that'll make you into a great artist, but it'll also crumble your foundation if you don't find time to admire it every once in a while and give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, good job, buddy.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. But do you think those moments of gratitude where you just, like, take a step back and look at it all are similar to the moments of excitement that you have while you're in the process of going from step to step, thinking ahead and then taking it? Do you think that it's really helpful to take that step back as almost as if it's like a breath, just to relax, just to, I guess, to support your foundation for a second before you go adding more weight on top of you?
Exactly, because you run out of momentum quicker if you don't take that step back, because you're nonstop, constantly going. You don't take a breath. I look at it like standing directly in front of a door and having to knock that door down without taking any steps back to charge it. You just get the 2 or 3 steps before the door. But when you take that step back, you kind of, you start to go down the hallway a little bit. You start to get your breath back. You get your energy back. You focus on your target, and you get a full-blown sprint, and then it launches you into that next level. And then maybe you go for 3 or 4 next achievements and levels, and then you take that step back again. And I feel that a lot of people burn themselves out that'll be doing great. They'll be killing it. They'll be making a buzz for themselves, and then they vanish because they burn out the light bulb. It just too much. You didn't give yourself time to cool down, and you overload yourself.
Yeah. Do you think that happens, that happens often to people? Like, is this something that you have firsthand seen people do?
I have. I mean, I've been in the scene for quite a long time, and I've seen some great artists come and go from issues of that. Sometimes people just don't want to do music anymore. I mean, that happens. But I mean, I've seen people who had every intention of never stopping, and they were just monsters, and then they're gone. They overloaded themselves, and it just ruined the craft that they love because they didn't take time to admire it. It started out with nothing but love, and it ended in just wanting to be, why am I not bigger? Why am I not doing this? And it can't be like that. You need to step back and say, I'm going to make what I love, and if people love it, great. I'm a rock star. Even if I have 10 fans, I'm a rock star because these people love it. I feel good about what I do. But it starts to get to a point where you say, you know what? I don't care about these 10 fans. I want 10,000. Why do I not have 10,000? Why am I not playing here? Why am I not doing this? I could be better. And then it starts to eat away at you. It pushes you to be better, like I said. So that's a great thing. But it's a curse at the same time because it can burn you out if you aren't smart enough to take a step back.
Mm-hmm. I had something very similar happen to me. It's a very different story. As I'm starting to gain lots and lots of momentum, instead of not taking that little break or step back to be able to charge, I was going full speed, but then I did stop. And I ended up actually meeting a life partner who I spent a whole year with, took off doing music, and got my passion and excitement from things other than music. So that way when I go, and my foundation doesn't involve music at all. So when I go to do the music, I can put all that passion in there, knowing that when I, turn away from it, when I take that breath, and I have so much to look forward to.
No, that's another very important point, because when you want to plant your feet, you want to be planting it on cement, not in mud. And if you don't take time, you'll be in the mud. So when you have that strong foundation, like you said, you found a great girl, she's the motivation you needed, she kind of got things in line, you focused, got back into it, and now you're doing what you love again, but you're doing it from a different perspective. And I think that's important. You have to have that foundation, because too many people build the foundation solely on the music and then craft their life around it. They don't make a life and craft the music into it. And those are very different outcomes and situations there.
This loops right back to the beginning where you said, people don't want to have to go through the trials and tribulations and the hard work it takes to carve your sculpture. Because, even once you got that, it's still not easy. It's still a balance to still put time into the music and put time into the family and become a better version of yourself and balance all these things, just to grow and to be able to build even more and gain. It isn't fly by easy and then life ends and your journey was awesome.
Exactly. It's a constant battle day to day, not just to juggle the time frames and fitting everything in, but to keep motivated, to keep wanting to do it, to just be an adult and do it responsibly. If you're a husband, if you're a boyfriend, if you're a father, whatever you might be, to take those tasks on and rock star them and continue to do what you do and find time for them is very, very difficult. But if you learn how to do it, it does make you grow, because the discipline builds character. And I feel like your music then gains the characteristics of your character. So you start to notice as some people start in the underground here to here, you hear they're great back then, they're great now, but you hear the growth in their music, not only talent, but his maturity. And you hear it and you're like, wow, man, this dude grew up like a motherfucker since I started listening to him. Mm-hmm. It just transposes into the music. But no, I'm glad we could talk a little bit about that, folks. If you have some input, please feel free to drop us a comment. We do got some comments coming in, and Well, thank you. I do throw a little bit of advice out there to anybody I interview, whether you're newer or whether you are around for a long time. I have been in the scene and involved in a lot of different things, for those of you who don't know, and I've got to see a lot, and I always try to help people if I can. So thank you for that comment. We also got a comment, I am a huge Rapper A.B. fan. Well, hopefully all you guys are out there. If you're not, I hope that you will become one, and we're going to be playing some of his music here shortly. And when we do, make sure you look up his pages, give them a like, follow, and share them around, because, you know, that's, as I say every week, that's the lifeblood of an underground artist. The more that you can support these guys, these gals out there, whatever and whoever I bring on the show, you know, the more that you help them, the more they're able to have that passion keep going and keep making music. So you could be supporting the next rock star out there, and we would love for you to do so. Talking about that, why don't we jump into one of our songs, and then we can come back and really start picking into the brain of who you are. What are the 3 songs you want to jump into and give them a kind of little taste?
Yeah, the first one I want to jump into is something new that nobody's heard yet, the Highest in the Room remix, and that's something I'm really excited about.
I dig it. All right, folks. Well, this is brand new. You've never heard this before, so jam this into your ear hole, hit the like button, and we'll catch you here in a couple minutes. This is Highest in the Room by Rapper A.B.
Y'all thought the crowd had me? It's the exact opposite. Bolded pupils with my eyes shut, I see that the world is not a preview. This life is rated R. Develop skill at large, no heart attack is left in me. It's my destiny to never be heard again. I can rest at ease with you next to me. Yeah, God put a bless on me, and I put a bless on him. Yes, we put a bless on you. Let it be deja vu. Now I'm the man I rule. Something they can't undo. Yeah, I'm back to attack the booth. How y'all do? Great me too. Whack artists put slack in the boot. Try to push too hard, I make actual poop. Acting a fool with a bath in the booth. I'm cleaning flour without Dove shampoo. And if that's what they call bubbling, then we chicka in trouble then. Cause if I gotta struggle to help you struggle, then you in trouble then. My luck's doubling, my luck's triple now. I'm prolific with genius thought. I have ideas, get up out my bed and paint them on the wall. Then I can't go back to bed. Got to create in my life. I can't fall into regret. I got too much to give my wife. Got too much to give my kids. On the back there is a wine. I hit my last bit of motive. Turn my back and twist it twice. Can't give up, not an option. Only option is to innovate, develop skill and penetrate success. I won't negotiate. So loud, my mind is 10,000. I'd break if I slow down. Not happening, not now. I did not come up to get knocked. Then knocked down. I struggle, but we're not frown. I juggle, but we're not clown. My stress eases anxiety. I'm piloting under pressure, Goliathing, annihilating any loss of confidence that I'll bring. I'm my worst enemy. As long as I don't run enemy, then I can take off my plane and land exactly where I want to be. My own fault is mine. Gotta do pole vaults on lines. Each bar gets set so high. I'm stressed, I guess that's been why. That's the truth I can't hide. It's simplified over time. Over time I became wise, but an eye for an eye makes the one-eyed men live. That's why I just can't sit. I can't die average because I'm not average. I'm not average.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it. That was Highest in the Room by Rapper A.B. He is our guest tonight. We've been with him just shy of a half an hour, talking to him about, you know, people's quirks as far as letting things get in the way with getting to where they need to be in their music career or in life, about some of the great things to do to overcome those hurdles, and about how he got started in the scene. But you just got done listening to a brand new track that he's never let anyone hear so far as in the mainstream and the focus out there on the radio. It has not been released, so fresh off the press there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that remix?
You know, it's high energy. It's something that I just wanted to, cause like I explained, you know, a little bit ago, I'd taken a year off to work on myself and develop my characteristics, dealing with the love that I have inside and the family that I can give it to. So I had a lot of excitement, concentrated excitement that I just wanted to put out, and that's what I created with it.
Well, and I don't want to beat a dead horse with it, but that concentration of using those energies, good, bad, sad, happy, excited, whatever it might be, if you can channel it, you can use it. And like you said, channeled excitement, you know, and you put it into song form, and it reflects back to the listener. And that's what I love about music, is it can be the artist's savior. It can save your life by pouring your emotions into the music, but then it can do the same thing for the listener on the opposite end. And it's just great that there can be that connection between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, couldn't agree more, you said it.
Now, I like to ask every guest that comes on in the hip-hop genre, because I have everything from death metal bands to, everything in between, but I do have a lot of hip-hop artists on the show, and I always love to hear writing style. As far as how you write, are you a traditional pad and pen? Are you a notebook or phone? Are you a laptop? Are you just off the top of your head in your memory? How do you write when you write your music?
I would say it's a combination of notepad on the desktop and in my mind and my memory. More like just playing the beat and just kind of just seeing what comes to my mind, kind of like you be able to channel that concentrated passion and excitement out onto a song as you're writing. I use that combined with the way that my mind works to create words, throw it into the notepad on the desktop.
Okay. Now, do you write... Are you more of you just keep running over the song over and over and over again until you slap in specific lines that just really fit well, or are you a line-by-line rapper? I mean, everybody does it a little bit differently.
I play it again and again and again, and over the years it has built an enormous amount of patience inside of me.
I do that myself whenever I'm writing my albums and I'm writing my raps, is I play that beat over and over and over. Sometimes I'll jump to the specific part of the beat that I need to work on, and I certainly do that. But folks, if you want to hear a secret of how Skippy Ickum got to be so goddamn tight on some of the stuff that I do, is because I would be a minute and a half, 2 minutes into the song and make a mistake, and I would start the song over again, and I would nail that same 2 minutes again until I got to the part I messed up. And if I got past it, great. If I messed up again, I started back at the beginning again. So some people think like, man, that's a lot of time that you're not focusing on the part that you need to be focusing on. That's not true. It's cementing in and polishing all those other lines tighter and tighter and tighter, and you start to fill in the gaps, and eventually you have just a perfectly polished product. Too many people, I think, just jump straight to that same line over and over again, ignoring the rest of the song. But if you do that method, by the time you're done, it is perfect.
Yeah, perfect, exactly. Because you wrote something back there at the beginning of the song. And that momentum keeps going. Like you're using. People are going to listen to that from start to beginning. So their mind's going to have to go through it. If you're just like throwing things on and not paying attention to what you just said 5 minutes ago, I think that is really what you can channel great things in, because you realize where it's going, what you're creating, and what people are going to hear.
Well, it's also, too, I guess, what some people have different motives of what they go for in music. Some rappers want to be a great writer. Some rappers just want to be a kick-ass rapper. And there's people that come on the mic and their bars are hard as fuck and they kill it, but there's never really any point to their song. There's never really any journey. It's just, damn, this motherfucker can spit and spit and spit, and he kills it. And then there's other people that come on that just paint a picture. They're Bob Rossing it the whole time through the beat, and you're just mind blown. Locksmith is one of those guys that whenever I listen to, I'm like, I don't even. This is some alien shit. Like, I feel like he was brought here from another country and dropped off just to fuck with everybody. Like, I'm going to ruin everybody's pen game. So if you thought you were good, you are no longer good.
I like bringing those two worlds together. Like the bars, like it's just like you're listening to it and you're like, oh shit. Like you're not even worried about what, like the story and the pictures being painted, and also the picture being painted. And like you just sometimes like I swear I'm gonna have some people just walk out of the venue because they're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? I can't even take this.
That's it, though. That's what you want, man. I mean, I always been a firm believer in mixing the two, where I do a lot of structured songs with regular hooks and verses that have structure to them like a regular written song that are on point, that tell a story. And then there's other ones where I do no hook, and for 3.5 minutes I'm just bar festing and going in hard, and then you might not get another song like that again for another 6-7 songs, but then boom, I slap you with one again. So you get a lot of chemistry and a lot of writing skill, but then it doesn't just give you that. It gives you those bangers that you're like, holy fuck, did you hear this crazy bastard going in for 3 minutes straight on vicious chopper style bars? I mean, you got to give people an array. If you're a one trick pony, you're a one trick pony. You have to mix it up.
Yeah. So do you kind of create the song? How is your releasing tactic like? Because what I've been doing over the past couple of months is I have created a bunch of songs, like that new one, that Highest in the Room, and I have like 8-10 more songs that are just stored that I'm going to release over the next few years or whatever it is that I choose to do. Do you create like a stockpile of music and then release it as you want, or do you get so excited that you just got to let it out?
So that's a good question. I've done it differently over the years. Starting out, what I did a lot of times is I would write a song, and then I would release the song. I might be writing 3 songs at a time, but like I was pumping them out. So whenever a song would come out, shortly afterwards, I would release it. I might have 2 more ready, but I would release one of them. I'd be writing another one. I would release another one soon. So by the time my album came out, people already had access to all those songs on different platforms. Now, I didn't have them purchasable, only streaming, so they would hear it for maybe 6-7 months, a year, a bunch of those songs, and then I would maybe keep 3 of them that they had never heard, and then I would drop the album and say, it's a 12-song album, you've heard 9 of the songs over the last year, but they're all killer, you've been wanting them, you haven't been able to buy them, now you can, along with 3 mystery songs that you haven't heard. That was my old philosophy. Then I changed it up to where I did what you kind of said, and I stockpiled, where I would release singles, I would release some other material and some collabs, but then I would only give them 3 songs off of a 12-song album, so complete vice versa. And I would say, buy the album now and get 9 songs you've never heard. I don't believe it has to be one way or the other. I believe you have to follow the feeling and the vibes that your fan base is giving you, and maybe fuck with them from time to time. Hey, I gave you a bunch of the album. I really gave you a treat. I'm hoping you're honoring and appreciative of that. But next time, fuckers, I'm going to make you wait a long time to hear any of the new album. I'll give you some singles, but they're not on it. I'm going to slap you with 9 new tracks out of nowhere. So you have to just kind of gear it, but I think if you learn how to watch the signs properly, you can really captivate on what type of feeling and overall group vibe your fan base gives, because they are ever changing. Just like the world, your fan base is ever changing.
Yeah.
The fans you have at the beginning, a lot of them won't be there in the end. A lot of the ones you have at the end came not too long ago, but they love it. You know what I mean? It's constantly evolving, where a lot of your diehards that are like, I'll ride with you till the end. They won't, man. They're not going to be there towards the end. But you know what? They are still part of the structure. Every piece of that is important to make you into who you are. But you can't focus on what you were when you started. You have to focus on what you will become.
Yeah.
That's another thing too many people do, is that I can't do that, man. I can't make a song like that. That's not how I started out. That's not what my fans expect. That's exactly the point. Give your fans something they don't expect.
No, 100%.
It's like watching a movie and always knowing the end. Why the fuck would you put a movie in and watch a 2-hour movie if you know how it's going to end every time? Throw some curveballs at me. Surprise me.
Yeah, right. It gets even better when you add like a curveball.
Well, you know what? Asking about that, you just made me think of a question. I don't want to forget to ask it. I've been asking a lot of the guests lately, and we're kind of on that topic, is you can release most of the album beforehand. You can release all the album at one time. But one of the things that has really changed over the last 10 years is CDs and digital singles compared to albums. And I like to hear a lot of rappers' takes on this, because some have been around a very long time, some are newer, so you get different answers. What is your thoughts on people being able to just release a single, wait 2 months, release another single, wait 2 months, and they're not really worried about albums or EPs or LPs. They just know if they hype it up enough, they drop a good track, they can ride that buzz until the next track and drop it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's smart tactics. But there's other people that say, no, fuck that. I want to make an album. And then on the opposite end, CDs are kind of starting to go away, and it's really much of a digital age at this point, where you don't need actual physical CDs. So what are your thoughts on those two things?
I think, it's the adaptation to adapt, because there are some people out there who are only streaming. They don't even, Best Buy just removed all their CDs. Tech Nine was the last album that got put into Best Buy, hard copy CD, and that was a couple years ago. Some people don't worry about CDs or hard copy anything. They're streaming their Spotify, their SoundCloud, and their Pandora Radio. And if your music is touching them, do what they're listening. If you're going to touch some other people, which clearly there's millions of people out there who still want CDs, me myself, I have purchased many of hard copy CDs because it's what excites me. At least it has over the past couple of years. And, give those people what they want. It's about giving people what they want in any form of media. Don't, box yourself into trying to do any one thing. Just try to, please your fans.
Yeah, well, and I think, like you said, you have to please your fans because it's going to change. If you are the guy that still carries only CDs, you don't have it on digital platforms, you're not going to get very far in today's age. You have to have digital. I mean, I got to be honest with you.
You got to have an Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have Instagram. You have these places that people can find you and listen to you, because I have in my merch room probably about 600 albums right now of mine. Yeah. I started really cranking down. I had a couple thousand, and I sold a bunch of them off and stopped replacing them and started just focusing on more of the digital. I still carry CDs. I know people are eclectic and they want to have that album and they want it signed, and that's great. But you need to be able to gear over to the digital, because that is really where it's at. I do 5 times the amount of sales. I feel that that's probably an accurate number. 5 times the amount of sales, digitally than I do at shows and with albums. I mean, the digital's taking over. Most places don't sell CDs, as you said, anymore, and cars don't come with CD players in them anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
I got a comment here. I am tardy to the party, but I'm here and looking to learn something new. Well, welcome,
hey.
Heather. Thank you for tuning into the show, and we'll certainly hope to teach you something. And if we don't, hey, in the meantime, you get to listen to some fun chit-chat and conversation. As you know, because you tune in quite often, we appreciate your listening and checking us out always. So, that's a definite interesting concept of digital. One of the things we talked about not too long ago on one of the other shows is a new concept that I personally haven't done, and I have announced retirement, that I'm finishing up this last album, and after 7 albums I am stepping down and kind of stepping away into other focuses than the music right now. And I was going to do it near the end, but there's no need for it now, and I know some are doing it, and that is USB thumb drives. It's an interesting concept to slap, let's say, for example, myself, 6 or 7 full-length albums on one thumb drive that takes up 1 inch of room. You can even have them custom made so that the outside shell says Skippy Ickum on it, and it's all, flames going on, or whatever the fuck you want. And you can sell that one thumb drive for whatever you want, but you could make ones that have 3 albums, one that have 5, one that has 8, whatever you want, and have different price points as long as you know you're giving them the correct one. So someone could come over and say, okay, $40, I just bought 7 Skippy Ickum albums on a thumb drive. And that's a smart idea that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of, that I've thought about and was going to start doing, but then I got away from it. And the reason why is taking CDs and merch to shows sucks. And I've been doing it for 20 years, and it just sucks. But if you can take a book bag, and you could have 100 thumb drives in it, you could have a handful of shirts, and you could have a couple flyers and stickers and things like that, you need nothing more than a book bag. Rather than seeing my dumbass dragging a dolly with like 7 totes on it, setting up a whole merch display. And the merch displays are needed, don't get me wrong. But it's all about weight. It's all about time and space. So food for thought out there, folks. To you, A.B., to you, anybody out there listening that's an artist. Thumb drives, guys. Thumb drives. It's the next revolution. So I got to ask you, what is the one lesson that you have learned in hip-hop so far that you don't regret that it's happened or that you learned it, but it's something that you wouldn't do again? So you've experienced it, it helped you grow, and you wouldn't relive it, wouldn't redo it because it made you into who you are, but you sure as fuck wouldn't do it again. And sometimes it's just not taking it seriously at the beginning. Sometimes it's putting trust in the people you shouldn't have, who have burnt you. What is the one thing for you as an artist that you look back on like that?
Overloading everything that it is that I was doing. We spoke shortly about just being rapid, about getting things done, spending 19 hours or 24 hours completely just working on music and creating and spreading it and promoting it. And I overworked myself so much that I forgot Austin Brown.
You know what? And that'll happen. You will lose yourself.
You know what happened? You know exactly. That's what had happened to me. And I did like this rebirth of like a phoenix coming back out. And that's something that I would not relive, but I'm so thankful for it because, you know, it gave me that opportunity to become something new.
No, and that's important. And like you said, it's a blessing that you got to renew and rise from the ashes, because so many fall and burn at that point because they lose track of who they are. And it's easy to do, very easy to do. And the thing is we set deadlines for ourselves as artists that aren't needed. Unless you are signed to a multi-major label deal and you actually have deadlines of tours and things, if you're an underground artist who manages yourself, or you're part of a team who, you know, isn't fucking beating you or whipping you or anything like that, then you got some leeway there. And I noticed for a long time I'd be like, I need to get this album done. I have deadlines. I need to do this, and this. I have deadlines. But who's setting those deadlines? Me. And it took a while to learn that. It sounds so simple, like, yeah, man, you make your own rules. Why wouldn't you know that? But no, you get so caught up in it, and you punish yourself so much and have to cram so much in and do this and this and this that you lose track that you were the one running the show. You lose track of who you are and why you got involved in the music, like I said earlier, and that's when things crash and burn. So I'm glad that was a lesson that you learned from. I did myself, and it made me the best artist that I ever was. After I rose from those ashes, I was like, holy shit, this is like a whole new person.
Yeah, and, you know, after that had happened to me, I had been in the mindset of it being more of goals, not rules that I had set for myself. So I gave myself leeway. I'm very understanding that I can, under pressure, still operate. So I gave myself a little bit of breathability. But then once that period of time had happened where I knew I was in overload mode, just, you know, life comes around, the universe has its way of being like, you know what, you're doing that, but let's rebirth you. And that's when I took that year break off to become more of a explorer of myself, of how it is that I can really operate other than just, you know, being creative, but actually love and have a family and you know, and then come back to it. And I think that's what the rebirth was. Right after that rebirth, I took the whole year and, you know, learn how to love.
Yeah, you got to learn how to love, man. Biggest thing in the world, most important thing in the world is love. And that's not some corny thing that they say, folks. Love's everything. Love is what makes this all work. There's a lot of hate out there. There's a lot of darkness, but we're all here because of just unfiltered love. And
that's all you need.
That's all you need, man. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a very spiritual person, as a lot of my fans and listeners and followers know. I am all about combined, you know, unconditional love to mankind. I will love you until you give me a reason not to. I don't judge you off of what you look like, your background, where you're from, your preference, your orientation. I don't give a fuck about any of that. If you're a good human being, I'm going to love you and I'm going to treat you with respect until you give me reason not to be, because we are all exactly one. We all are just parts of a puzzle that make up one bigger picture, and every one of us is equally important.
I agree.
Now, let's see. What do I want to pick your brain with? You know what? I'm going to save that for a minute because I want to talk about. I got a couple good ones for you here in a couple seconds here, but I want to pick your brain on what it is that you've released so far. So you talked about getting started. You've talked about some of the mentality and thoughts behind who you are and how you came to be, and we heard some of your music, but what do you have out that the fans listening right now that are interested can check out? Do you have a demo, an album? What are we talking about?
I've got about 40, probably over the last couple of years, I've released about 40 songs, maybe 60 onto YouTube. So if you just YouTube the words Rapper A.B. with no space in there, A.B. being my initials, Rapper A.B., you'll find a bunch of stuff on there. And I got one song on Spotify. It'll probably be the next one that we spin moving forward. So I'm excited to share that. And that one's really high energy. So, but yeah, there's plenty to listen to if you just YouTube Rapper A.B. There's about 60 songs that I released over my whole journey, and they're all awesome if you listen to any of them.
I'll tell you what, folks, I'll certainly attest to that. I have to ask questions sometimes that I personally know the answer to so that you guys can hear it in question form. He's been putting in work, and he's been putting out a lot of content, and I've been watching for a little while now, and really dope shit. I mean, he's constantly putting out dope stuff, constantly putting out material, which is important. He's got quite a plethora of music, and, hopefully you guys will jump through the catalog and really dive in and find out, several songs that you guys love. Now, talking about that, we are going to jump into our second break here. Which one do we want to give them?
Yeah, do the Came in Fast.
All right, let me pull that up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we got this right here. This is Came in Fast by Rapper A.B. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
Focus on you and funneling millions of dollars, or you can focus on me and get you a handful of nuts. I supply my brain to vendors, take out pieces and mail it to you. You can buy it and try to silence the violence embedded into the people who hated and dug my grave then escaped. This is all cause of you. Thank you, I'ma be great. Lately scary things have happened on the daily in broad day. All day I jump in cemeteries like, yeah, I'm the GOAT. Ain't no fucking doubt about it, yeah. I'm at your throat, dip your hand into the fountain, then you turn into a ghost. Hey, start to glow. Hey, why you coming through the most? Got my money up, it came in fast and fucked me up, it fucked me up. Yeah, it fucked me up, I got my money up, it came in fast, and it fucked me up, it fucked me up. Yeah, it fucked me up, I got my money up, it came in fast, now they hit me up, they hit me up. Yeah, they hit me up, I got my money up, it came in fast, now they call me up, they call me up. Yeah, they call me up. When I leave the house, I find something I can take home. So much trauma come with clout, I wish that I was flip the hourglass in 30 minutes, I'll be able. Popped up, wrap my ass off, then I built myself a label. Started as a clerk and now I'm getting what I paid for. Credit score been climbing, kinda like the global climate. Going global, it's a science, my success is predetermined. If we'll trade in every state, then pivot out to Aussie. I've been flossing, now they brush with me, cause I've been putting hours in. Got calluses, but balanced it, I glow now without special effects. Lace up and step on your neck, I might just rep on your set, I might just got my money up, it came in fast and fucked me up, it fucked me up. Yeah, it fucked me up, I got my money up, it came in fast, and it fucked me up, it fucked me up. Yeah, it fucked me up, I got my money up, it came in fast, now they hit me up, they hit me up. Yeah, they hit me up, I got my money up, it came in fast, now they call me up, they call me up. Yeah, they call me up.
All right, guys, that is Came in Fast by Rapper A.B. We've been with him the last 47, 48 minutes, picking his brain, finding out a lot about him, about his music, and about his journey. Sounds like it's been a great time so far, and it's certainly a lot left in that journey to go. So if you like what you're hearing, make sure you share him around and give him the support that he needs. If you are tuning into the show right now and you missed the beginning of it, don't fret. You can always jump back and listen to the entire episode after the live portion is done. We usually run till roughly about 10:30. And then at that point, you can jump back and listen to the whole episode. You can download it and check it out however you want. Make sure you check out our past episodes as well. But you'll definitely want to check out this whole episode tonight if you haven't. If you are tuning in right now, please go to Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app, and you can talk to us live through the Instant Messenger application. It's a great way to ask our guests questions, be a part of the show, and just be involved, and we'd love to see that. Participation is key. So, another great track by you, brother. That's a strong, very, very dope, fucking beat, dope track, dope lyrics. I mean, like I said to the fans before going on to the break, you've been steadily putting out very good quality content.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
it's hard to stay motivated. What keeps you motivated to write? I mean, obviously you have a good outlook on things, got a good head on your shoulders from what I can tell already talking to you. But I mean, what is your motivation?
Man,
it's a hard question.
It is, but I think it's those seconds or minutes, hours, whatever it is that the individual chooses to do, because everybody can do this. The taking a step back and taking a breath. There's so many times, we spoke at the very beginning talking about reading books. You and I both do it. 2 years ago, I took that step back prior to that other one where we talked about where I said I had like a rebirth. I took a step back and I stopped putting out music and just read information. And I think what motivates me is that step back, to be able to accumulate, to come back monumentally better than I was. And it's so awesome to say that, because anybody can take a break, accumulate themselves, pick up some new perspectives, and then go back at what it is that they're so passionate about and be 20 times more valuable to contributing to that. That's what motivates me, those times where I get to do things that I love to do.
I agree, man. I agree fully. And I love, as you mentioned, reading. I love reading. I love knowledge. I love the thirst for wanting to know more, craving to know more. And I'm a big reader. I read often. I mean, right behind me right now in my studio, there's about 9 books sitting on the back table. And I'm in the midst of reading all of them at once. I'm kind of a weird reader. I don't read just one book usually. Sometimes I will, but I will jump in between many different things. Now, these are all more of a, philosophical type content. So sometimes it's nice to jump around on those so it's not too heavy on the mind. But no, I love reading. In fact, as I'm stepping down from rap, a lot of my time will be going to reading and research and practice of things that I'm involved with. And I know a lot of my fans are like, wow, bro, you are retiring from rap to read. And you're fucking right, I am. Deal with it.
I like that a lot. I got a question for you.
Certainly.
What would you say would be your favorite book?
Oh,
You have to say one.
Well, that's a tough thing because you have different sides. Now, if it's going to be something like fantasy or psychological or anything like that, I would say Stephen King of some sort. I'd probably say like The Shining, or I would say, so I would say something along this, like The Shining or Salem's Lot. If I had to pick like a fantasy or like horror style psychological thriller, that would be one of my 2 favorite books right there. If you're talking,
Yeah, because all I read is nonfiction.
I mean, it's a tough thing. It sounds kind of, cliche, but a very good read's the Bible. You know what I mean? And if you read the Bible, it's a very well-written story, whether you have ideals behind it in a religious sense or you're reading it strictly as entertainment value of a story. It is very deep. It is very thick in content. And what most people don't know is if you start to decipher it, there is a very big hidden story within the Bible itself that tells you of a whole different story. And that right there is genius, to be able to write something that big, that complex, and that life-altering, and then within it have a whole nother story that's life-altering is pretty deep. Now, I mean, that would go up there as being one of the best. I have read the entire Bible before. I've read a lot of different religious books and practices.
How would you recommend people go at reading the Bible? Because sometimes people, they skip to certain chapters in the church. Sometimes people don't want to start at the beginning of a book. How would you recommend somebody go at starting to read the Bible if they've never picked it up or try to learn what it has to offer them?
That's a tough one. I say traditional. Go from the beginning. Don't hop around. Don't skip the book. This isn't a Hardy's book. Do you go through the door? If so, go to page 37. Do you climb down the ladder? If so, go to page 90. No, this isn't one of those type of books. This is read it from the beginning. The Hardy books are crazy. I love them, but this isn't one of them. You know what I mean? You got to read it from the beginning because the Old Testament is really where it's at. That's where the real guts and grit of the Bible are, is in the Old Testament. The New Testament's great, don't get me wrong, but the Old Testament sets up a lot of things, and there's a lot of hidden content and information within that. But the thing is, it depends on what you want to take from it. If you want to read it for what it truly is, if you want to try to get religion from it, the thing with it is there's pieces of the Bible that are missing. The book of Enoch and the book of Enki were originally in the Bible. They have been removed from all traditional modern Bibles. Yeah. So has a lot of other things, talking about the firmament, talking about a bubble that surrounds our world that keeps us from the outer to the inner. As above, so below, the bubble that keeps us from space and keeps us from going further than we are right now. There's a lot of talks into that. I don't want to get too conspiracy theory or Old Testament on you, but I mean, these things were removed from the Bible. So it just depends on what version you're reading, but I say that a good way is just going strictly from the beginning, reading it through. It's going to take a while. You're not going to understand all of it. But then after that, you can start jumping back to sections that spoke to you. Am I a big Godhead? No, I'm not. But do I believe that there's certain chunks of the Bible that are amazing? Absolutely, and they're great stories. Now, do I believe it's all real? No. But I believe that there's a good backbone behind it. And as any good stories, there's some embellishments on it. But you know what? Within that story itself, there's a lot of other gritty content, folks.
So if you're excited about that, anybody who's listening, then you can go read the Bible.
Yeah, go read the fucking Bible and learn something. But if you're going to talk aside from that book-wise, guys, I would say, Tolkien was a great writer. The Lord of the Rings are great books. If you're looking for, like I said, fantasy and things like that, when you're looking at regular books, The Art of War is a great book.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff I read is really fucking out there. Most people are like, what are you talking about? The 3 books of occult philosophy.
Right.
Agrippa books, which is just very old school. King Solomon's, the Solomonic Testament, and the Lesser and Greater Keys of Solomon. There's a lot of different ideal books. I look for a lot of things that teach us who we are as people and what we are in the world, and it allows you to kind of control your life and control the elements and things around you by extreme knowledge. So that's the type of shit that I read. Most people would find it boring as fuck. They'd read and be like, wow, man, but I love it.
Well,
read some of these comments here. We got, good to know. I've always done the same, skip through it, never read it the whole way through. And time I do it now, you should. I mean, there's a lot of great content, and I'm not knocking anything about the Bible and saying that it's not going to lead you to salvation. It very well might, and it has for millions and millions of people. I just think that there's important messages within there that I use in my beliefs, which are very, very scattered.
And you recommend the Old Testament?
I recommend the Old Testament. I mean, all of it's very good, but I just think that you're going to get your biggest journey in the Old Testament.
I'm sure that's what many people are listening for. And I love the people leaving comments, too. That's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, people are tuning in. We got another one. It says, but do you really understand the Bible, though? No one ever agrees on the interpretation. Well, it depends on what interpretation you want to take it as. For instance, Adam and Eve are looked at as a man and a woman. They're looked at as eating an apple. And she tricked him into eating the apple after being tricked from Lucifer as he appeared in snake form in the Garden of Eden. But another way that it can be looked at is not so face value of she ate an apple and it was just a test to her. Don't eat that apple, God said. No. The apple was purity. The apple was her virginity. Their apple was, I've given you this life and this beautiful body and this beautiful garden, the animals, the fruit, everything you could ever want. But don't indulge in sins of the flesh, or else you will be banished from this place. Lucifer showed up, or lust, you could say, showed up, and she wanted to experience the apple. She wanted to tempt Adam with the apple, and he gave into his temptations as she gave into hers. And because of doing so, we're cast into, the outer world outside of the Garden of Eden. And what happened next? They created life. They gave birth. But what did they give birth to? Cain and Abel. Murder. Greed. Envy. They gave birth to sin because they, in fact, themselves sinned by breaking the cardinal rule of having everything they could have ever wanted, but not being allowed to be physical or lust. And they gave into that. That is the true meaning for some behind the story of Adam and Eve. And most people have never heard that. And if you're hearing that out there right now for the first time, you're probably like, oh shit, okay, wow. And that's what it is it wasn't about a fucking apple. It wasn't about a man and a woman just, being tricked into eating a fruit. It was about them giving a part of themselves that God tested them on and said, you are not allowed to give into this, and I will give you everything. But if you give into this, you shall have nothing, and you will birth murder, you will birth envy and greed. And that's exactly what happened, and that's what spawned the world into sin. And from there, it gave us free choice. It gave us sin. So that's a big portion of it. There's a lot of, and that's one little tiny fucking split hair in the Bible of a million other stories. And that's what I'm saying, is everything can be taken at face value as an amazing story. And you can find insight and salvation in just the face value story. But if you dig deeper, there's a much, much deeper story.
Yeah.
But this isn't about my beliefs, folks, so I apologize for ranting on a little bit. This is about A.B. tonight, and we've been listening to his music, kicking it with him, and talking a little bit about, everything tonight, which is what I love on these shows. And I have to ask this question. It's an oddball question. I like to always throw it out there. But if you had to pick one animal to rule the kingdom, to rule them all, and we're not included, they rise up and fight one another, and ultimately one is left. Who and what animal do you pick? And I'm talking, it can be anything, and I've heard everything from the bird kingdom to the insect kingdom to everything in between. What do you pick as being the creature that wins it all?
A capybara.
A capybara, okay.
I hope people get the mental image of what a capybara is. It's not, just the capybara. That's the number one thing. It's kind of like a 5 foot tall guinea pig.
It is. It's like a big fucking hamster. It's funny you say that, because I had a guy that drew a picture in an occult group that I'm a part of, and he was trying to draw the face of an angelic being that they come sometimes in animal form, and he drew it kind of fucked up, and he said, does anybody know what this looks like? Because I'm not quite sure. And it looked just like a capybara, and I sent him a picture on the thing, and I was like, it looks like a capybara, bro. And this was just a couple days ago. So to hear that again a couple days later is funny, because not a lot of people know what a capybara is.
Yeah. Man, if that was a kingdom of the capybara, I think, that place would run over pretty well.
I just think I want to get a capybara, put him on a leash, keep him as like my dog, but not like walk him around the park and shit. People be like, "What's that? What kind of dog is that guy got?"
You can do it.
Yeah, I would, but I have a thing with animals, and I don't think I could bring. I can domesticate a dog, but I don't think I'm not one of those people. I'm not, the fucking Lion King or whatever this guy's name is, Tiger King. You know what I mean? I'm not these dudes that can own these exotic pets, because they don't deserve to be, caged. I don't feel.
Yeah.
Now, we do get a question for you here. After this pandemic is over, do you plan to do any more shows / performances?
Depending on when is the bigger question. I'd say performances is something that I love to do. So I don't think that there's anything really holding me back other than, figuring out when the next one is. Which is, not where my head's at right now. I'm more in the create songs mode right now.
It makes sense. I mean, yeah, because right now, we don't know. We don't know. We getting out in a month. We getting out in 2 months. No one knows what the fuck's going on right now. Shows are destroyed for 2020. So if you had plans of going to concerts in 2020, you might as well just, scrap that idea. And me and my wife had some tickets for some awesome fucking shows coming up. And I'm like, man, did we get dicked.
Yeah, wow.
It happens, though. You know what I mean? We've gone to a lot of great concerts, so I can't be angry at the fact that we can't this year. It is upsetting, but once again, it's all about how you learn to handle it. We could be mad. We could throw shit. We could be childish about it, or we can say, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go next time. You know what I mean? So it's all about how you look at things. But we got people leaving other comments here. Welcome to the new podcast, Bible Stories with Skippy. Hey, I'll start a third one. Don't tempt me. I'll go into some theology deep. Let's see what other questions we got here. It looks like that's all for now. There's a bunch of other comments, but they have nothing to do with questions specifically. And one of the other questions I do like to ask people, this is a very deep-rooted question because, once again, there's no wrong answer. It's all about personality and what you're looking for, and I get a lot of different answers on this, and I love this question. It's my favorite question of the episode. It's, if you had to choose between one or the other, and the first choice being that you could make a song that just blows up. It's massive. You get all of the money you could ever want from it, all of the fame. You are set. You don't have to worry about anything ever again. You are now a legend and you are rich. But every song that you write after that song never does anything. So everyone always compares you to that one-hit wonder song. Like, hey, his shit's all garbage, but that one song's killer. Or do you take the option and you write song after song that is phenomenal, but for some reason no one else thinks it's phenomenal? So you listen to it and you're like, holy fuck, man, I am amazing. And you just keep putting it out there and no one gives a shit. And you're like, I don't understand why no one's listening. So you're staying true to yourself but get absolutely nowhere at all, and it's frustrating. Or do you take that one-hit wonder knowing that that sets you for life? What's your take on that?
Well, I think this is an even more interesting one than the earlier harder question that you would ask me. I'd say, well, let's weigh them out, because the first one, the beginning option, comes with just a lot of money, and then I could tour off of that show, and I could experience all these things, and I can craft that song however I want it to be. So if I want the message to be like Peace to the Planet, and then it blows up, that's a really good opportunity to say Peace to the Planet that many people listen to. I think if I use that first option right, that'd be amazing. The second option, I mean, I write dope shit all the time, and I mean, I don't. If I had to stay exactly where it is that I'm at, like, it just doesn't seem like like the better option. So I think if I strategically, which I trust myself to write something good for the people, to give them a better quality and experience of life, I'd take that first option. You know, because after that, what we talked about earlier, when I had that rebirth, I really learned how to love. And I think that my foundation is strong enough that I could kind of kick back and relax and enjoy a quality of life that I'm excited and fulfilled by, that, you know, it won't corrupt me or make me feel like, you know, I got it all and now I can't reach a new height. I'm happy where I am, and I don't need any more than I am right now. So if I had the opportunity to just write some positive things, flick it out to the world, and still be where it is that I'm at, I'm happy with that.
No, I mean, it makes sense because, and that's a good point on it, that a lot of people say they'd take A because, hey, I've been doing music a long time. If I can make a hit song, become rich, and set my family forever, my kids can go to college, you know, don't have to worry about nothing. Why wouldn't I do that? Other people say, no way, I'm diehard as fuck. I would never do that song. I'd be true to myself. You know what? That's fine. There is no wrong answer, but I love how people justify each side of what makes sense to them. And as you said, you can use that one song to make a life-changing song, not only a hit, but something that speaks volumes to the world, to the culture at that time, that everyone says, damn, like, that was a deep song, it's going to last forever, and you and your family are set off it, and you don't have to worry about it. And you know, the way I look at it is, you can still write songs, maybe they're not hits, but hey, you're still writing, you're still doing what you want, and you have enough money and time now to not have to work. You can find another hobby and another passion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with you on the first one, and I think it's a big thing with age as well, because if you would have asked me, and I said this to another guest not too long ago, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have never taken option A. I'd have been like, B forever, I'm fucking hardcore. You know what I mean? And I'd be the dumbass looking back saying I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? I would much rather set my family and myself for life, do what's still true to myself, and then, like I said, with that money, I could build a school for kids that don't have anything and teach them music and get them started into the scene because of my one song. So my sacrificing my own integrity of multiple other songs could give thousands of other artists their dream. And to me, that right there is being a rock star.
Yeah, it's so interesting how people could respond to that. There's so many different sides to that. You can go more like just take it all and run. You can go provide for the world, for the fellow humans, to like what the person personally going through, to why they would even choose side B. And that is really a good question.
No, it is, and we have some great takes on it right now. We have a comment that says, I don't think I could do option A. I saw Aaron Lewis last year, and right before he did It's Been a While, he started bitching about how he hates the song. Now, I can understand that perspective, but you got to think about something that it's a job, nonetheless, at the end of the day. You can still find fun in it, and maybe you can find fun in your other songs you play, but you know if that's your hit song that people are coming to hear, you're going to play it. And during those 4 minutes, it's going to suck, and you're going to be like, I want to choke myself out because I hate this song, but it's still a job. And do you enjoy going to work now? Probably not, but you do it because it pays the bills. So you got to step in and play It's Been a While, like he does every night that he plays. And then you can always play some other shit that you like. But, we're talking about Aaron Lewis, though. So, I mean, none of this really matters anyway, because Stained is boring as fuck live.
So what do you think would happen if you were to play that hit song and then move on to the lesser songs that nobody cares about? What do you think the crowd would do? Because they'd be going crazy for the hit song when you start playing the things that you're like, come on, if I would have, I chose side A and now people are turning away.
It could happen. I mean, here's the thing, though. When you're a one-hit wonder, people only go to see you for that one hit, honestly. Though some people, you got the diehard fans that are like, I love this artist. Everybody just talks about that one song, but he's so much more in depth than that. And that's true. But, you have a lot of artists that literally will go to your show for that one song. The whole concert, they'll be talking to their friends, drinking, not give a fuck, and that song comes on. They're like, this is my shit. You know what I mean? And they jam that one song, and that's all they cared about the whole concert. That's the reason that they're even there. So, I mean, here's a fucked up way of looking at it, but if the ticket's $25 a piece, you made $25 from the person that listened every second, and you made $25 for the person that listened for 4 minutes. So at the end of the day, as an artist, I'm still going to be like, hey, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? I hate to say that. So many people say, oh, man, you're only in it for the money. Fuck no, I'm not in it for the money. But money does make sense, and money does certainly take up a part of it. And anybody that sits there and says, I don't care about money, that's great, but you're obviously doing a lot better than most of the rest of us.
Right. I mean, it is needed in a sense. If I were to go to California to do a in-demand show, I wouldn't even be able to get there if I didn't pay for the flight.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even be able to get there if I wasn't able to rent out the venue or work out some sort of deal. And then even then, the venue owner would want sales to come to the venue, or else they wouldn't even want me there at all. So there's money moving, and I think that it is important in a way.
It becomes more and more important. As you start out, I never cared about money at the beginning. I did it for strictly passion, and that's admirable. But you start to realize how much money goes into it. Okay, I got a merch booth. I got to carry these fucking totes. I got to carry this table. I have someone working that merch booth. I have this, and this. I have to travel there. I have the gas to get there. I have, it's out of state, so I have to rent a U-Haul or a trailer. And you start to look at your costs, and you're like, well, shit, I'm not necessarily worried about making a ton of money for myself, but to even come out and do this, I need to make X amount of dollars to break even, and I need to make a little headway, so I need to ask for this much. And that comes a certain point you have to value yourself and say, well, I can't do this for free anymore. I need to make money, and here's what I need to do. It might not be a lot of money, but you need to make your worth, because as soon as you let time and time again play for free, those same promoters will never pay you. 3 years down the road, when you're killing it, they're still going to try to get away with that same shit. Oh, bro, I don't have no money to pay you tonight. But you're cool with it, right, man? Because they knew at the beginning you allowed it. So there has to be that step-up point where you're like, all right, man, I need $50 to come tonight. Then a little bit later, as a year or so goes by, I need 75, I need 100, I need 300, I need whatever it might be. You don't want to be a dick, and you don't have to be in it for the money, but you have to put a value to yourself, or you will be valueless to everyone that books you, and they will always use you as a welcome mat.
Yeah, I think that's important for the listeners to kind of understand about artists and what our minds are thinking and what it is that we, what we're thinking, really. That's the honest truth of how an artist is thinking.
Well, and people don't pay attention to that. They love the fact that it's music, and music's a release for them. It's their fun time. It's away from work. And it is fun for us too, but it is a job. And you need to understand and respect that when you're having fun at the bar and you're getting fucking lit and you're partying and having a good time, we're having fun too, but we are working, and we might have to set that show up. I run a lot of shows, so sound systems, security, making sure the flow of the show goes good, the tear down at the end of the night, the loading the car up, to driving home at 3:30 in the morning and unloading the car. It is work. So whenever you try to talk me down from a $20 shirt to a $13 shirt because you don't have enough money, fuck you, bro, because I'm worth that goddamn 20. And honestly, I'm being generous. It's a $20 shirt, and I usually throw you in stickers and decals for free. That's an extra several dollars. But my point behind that is if you don't put a value to yourself and stand true to it, fans and promoters will fucking destroy you and pick you apart. Fans will know that they heard their friend just get that shirt for $5 less. Fans will know that they got it for $5 less last time, and every time they try to buy a shirt, they're like, bro, isn't there anything you can do about bringing the price down? No, scumbag, I can't, because I am worth the fucking $20. Pay me what I'm worth, because this is my job. I'm here entertaining you to have a good time tonight. Pay me for that entertainment. And that's the problem with the scene, is everyone buckled so easily that it became the normal in Pittsburgh. It became the normal in places all over the United States, but I use Pittsburgh as an example, that it's okay to pay to play. You sell 35 tickets for me. You make me $1,800, and I will let you play for free. Or I will give you $100 out of the $1,800 that I made. You will bust your ass for 2 months selling every fucking ticket you can, these 70 tickets, and I'll make $2,000 off it. You'll make $100. You'll play for 12 minutes, and you'll play at 7 in the afternoon.
Right, that's how it is some places.
It's not right, and it never was like that 15 years ago, 18, 20 years ago. That is not how the scene operated. Is you got respect, you got paid to play. If you were an opener, maybe you did play free until you made enough of buzz. Maybe you'd make $25 or $50, but everyone got paid, or everyone got a chance to get bigger to get paid. Now you got people who have buzz as fuck, and they still try to take advantage of you, and they're like, I could pack the place, but they're like, no, we can't pay you, man. So I'm going to make you thousands of dollars tonight, and you're not going to give me a fucking cent. And it's crazy. And the scene's not like that everywhere. It's just really certain pockets of areas. So that's a shame that a lot of people do that. Going back to one of the comments, though, someone said he looked miserable talking about Aaron Lewis because he wants to be singing country, Heather. He doesn't want to be singing, which honestly I think he's a better country singer than he is with Stain. So just never do Stained again, Aaron Lewis, and just stick with the country. You guys aren't that fucking good. And I hate to be a ball buster. Stain's a good band, just live. I literally thought about ending it. You know, ending my life during their set because I'm like, this is so fucking boring, I'd rather watch paint dry.
Oh my.
Yeah, I just dropped it on it. He's going to be listening to this and be like, this motherfucker out there. Yeah, let's see. What other statements do we got here? Both sides of the token has its benefits, and you are going to see it differently depending upon what you bring to it. That's why you'll never get the same answer from everyone on that question. That's why I love the question, and that's it, because somebody might already be set for life money-wise. You might have an artist on here who's fucking loaded and says, no, I always stay true to myself because they don't care about the money, motivation, or fame. You have some of us who grew up in fucking squalor and had nothing that I'm like, if I can get a couple $1 million, fucking A. If you call me a sellout, that's cool. I'll smack you in the face with a stack of money. Like, because some of us didn't have that money growing up. So, as you said, Heather, it's a very good question because we all come from very different backgrounds.
Right.
All right, so let's take a look. Why do, can I ask you a question? Why do manholes only come round? Why do they not come square? I mean, why is a manhole not square?
I think,
You're like, I don't know what the fuck to say to that.
We should try out some square manholes. I mean, it could probably be something to do with maybe like if it was square and the manhole was sticking up, maybe you would run over like a sharp edge or something. If you were driving past it, because I've seen manholes just sticking like sideways out, and I'm having to drive around it.
So you're going with the edge factor, that we think that there'd be an edge on it. It could flatten tires, could hurt someone potentially. I've heard other people say for the rolling of the cap, when you pull it off, it wouldn't roll, so you'd have to really drag it and they're heavy. Whereas a round one you can kind of roll. So I like the edge factor. We're going with the edge.
Okay, the edge.
The edge. Now, talking about the edge, let's jump into the last track we have of the night. Come back with the last couple questions, and we'll get you finished up here. We only have one song left from you, and this one is called Stage Time. Why don't you give us an interlude of what this song is, right into it, and we'll drop it.
Yeah, recently I've just been stockpiling a bunch of good music, and, I haven't really been wanting to work with anybody except for my brother. who was on this song. And he came on over, and, you know, we just did our thing and recorded this song, and I'm really happy with it, and I think everybody's going to love it. I hope you do.
Absolutely. Here it is, folks. Stage time on Uncovering the Underground. We'll be right back.
Have a good show, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
You two the performers?
That's us.
Yep. We got this.
Here we go.
There's a lot of people out there.
So many people.
Confidence stained on my wrist and my neck. That shit just run.
We running.
Straight through my veins.
Straight through my veins.
Promise we taking.
Promise we taking.
This shit to the grave.
Straight to the grave.
Try to pull up. Who you pulling up on? Bitch, you are brave.
Hey,
Got me jumping like a rave. I've been doing this for days. It's about time for a raise.
Jumping.
Sick and tired of just sitting. I wanna get up and move shit. Hop up on stage and just lose shit. Then pick up the crowd and just move it.
Grabbing the microphone, show you the ethic I put in to write these songs. Tightrope is what I'm on. Jump in the crowd just to show you the mic I'm on. Lane on the stage and continue to write the song. I am the shit. I knew since I had a bottle and bit that I would grow up and learn to be rich. Now look at the kid, now look at him spit. I don't ever go out cause the wife is at the crib. And I got a kid, I'm gonna teach him how to win. Build and show him what I did, study jujitsu and show him how to kick. I might do a backflip every time I write a hit song. Oh, this looks like one of them was like, ha. I'm done.
Into the looking class, all I can do is just C-sharp. Just search your name on the seating chart.
Sit down.
Take a break cause I am tearing this beat apart.
Tear it up.
Straps on your face and just eat a dart.
That shit.
Bullseye is what I am aiming for. Better get out of my way, I don't play no more finna kick in the dark.
Kick that door.
Take a breath and I just go again.
Go
Ooh,
again.
now I am going it. Ooh, get in the grass and just mowing it. Ooh, open and hoping to know what to do. That's how I move.
All right, folks, that is, a quick one there. It caught me by storm. We're over here bullshitting on the break. I look back and boom, we are back on. I like it. It's a good little ditty, and it was called Stage Time, and that was by Rapper A.B., Pennsylvania hip-hop artist that we've been hanging out with the last hour and a half. If you've missed any of it, go back and listen from the beginning. It's a doozy. You'll love it. We've talked about a lot of great things. And make sure you hit that share button. He told you a little bit about how that song came to be, but I want to hear, we've heard some old stuff tonight, and we've heard some new stuff. In talking about new stuff, what do the fans have to look forward to coming up? What do you have in motion right now? Whether that's music, whether that's something else you're working on, what can fans of Rapper A.B. expect in the near future?
I'd say, to give everything away that I can give about what it is to expect for any new people to follow me, and people have been following me already, I'd say better quality music. Not quality, yes, quality as in sounding better. I've learned to mix and master my music on programs through FL Studio and to make it sound better, 100%. But also, I want to provide something when somebody listens to, kind of align with prosperity, kind of align them with a better quality and a better experience of life. I try to touch on values that I know we all care about. Like, typically, people care about how their future goes. And if I write a song that, optimism about the future, maybe if they tune in, they might like that. Or, this is what they can look forward to. Me thinking like this, trying to provide a better quality of experience day to day for people's lives. And that's what I've been doing, creating this stockpile of music, which, who knows when I'm going to release it. So if you want to follow me to catch up on that, and I'll always reply to anybody who messages me asking questions. The answer might be, I don't know yet, but I think that's what they have to look forward to. My mind right now progressing, and I think that's the of course answer,
No, I think that's great, and I think people will certainly be looking forward to it. I think you definitely gained some new fans tonight, as you'll see. And, why don't you tell the fans where they can check you out at so that they don't miss the opportunity to like and follow your pages? What are you on? What are you not on? Where can we find you?
Yeah, if you want to go right to the music, you can go to YouTube and Rapper A.B. with no space in there. And then if you like what you hear there, you're really enjoying yourself, you've skimmed a couple of songs, you subscribe, Instagram him over there. You can type in the same thing, or you can type in hip-hop himself. And I think those are the two mediums that will really have you connecting best to how it is that I'm expressing myself and putting things out.
Well, perfect, folks. You heard it. Make sure you go and click those buttons on those pages. Support this man. If you liked what you heard tonight, you like his music, message him. Tell him. Let him know that you like what he's doing. And we certainly appreciate your support. I do want to make a couple quick announcements. And let me pull it up real quick. I do not have it next to me. That's my fault, folks. I usually have it a little bit more organized than this, but I was making some changes to my radio schedule earlier, and I took it in the other room. We have next week on the show, we have Ultraviolent, which is a rock band, metal band from Pennsylvania, I believe. I have to double check that because I'm always having so many guests on from so many different places that I usually have to pull up and make sure I read my notes, which I don't have with me, as I said. So we do have Ultraviolent on next week. The following week, I believe we are taking a hiatus for that specific week. I am out of town. And then the following week, we are coming back with Aurora in Peril, which is another great band. So we got some bands coming for you in the month of May. We also got Flatline the Demon at the end of May, which is an underground horrorcore hip-hop artist that we'll be bringing on. So we got a slew of great artists and people coming up on the show. Make sure you check us out each and every Thursday night, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on whatever sites you like listening to us from. As I said, we are on everything. And we really appreciate you checking us out tonight. Other than that, AB, I really appreciate you coming on the show, brother. It was great picking your brain, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, absolutely. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. Well, folks, we'll catch you next time on Uncovering the Underground.
Bye.